what happens in that growing momentum is that the two worlds mythology gets sort of solidified into our more current notions of the supernatural and the natural world. And then religion gets understood in that relationship. And then what happens is for sort of philosophical arguments, and then increasingly the emerging of scientific arguments, the supernatural world becomes less and less plausible to people. It becomes less and less believable. And so what happens is the two worlds mythology collapses within the scientific worldview. There aren't two worlds. The hallmark of the scientific world is naturalism. There is a universe. There is a unified single reality. Um, Now, the problem with that is that means we took away the cosmic home for all of those ecologies of practices, Buddhism and Taoism and Zen and Christianity and Zoroastrianism and Judaism and Christianity. And yet we can't do without the ecologies of practices that they gave us for dealing with foolishness and a loss of meaning. So what do is you unhome all of these ecologies of practices, secularism rises, and what you have is people can't believe in the two worlds mythology, but they can't live without an ecology of practices for cultivating wisdom and self-transcendence. That's the meaning crisis. It's a wisdom famine. When I was doing formal logic, I you know, I finally realized that the thing that made doing formal logic hard was not formal logic. It was translating well into formal logic. You have to take everyday language and thought and ideas about relevance, and you have to try and cram them into your formal system. And the gist of the argument is, and I will ask people to trust me that there's a like a valid like argument for this, is that that process of formalization, translating things into a formal system, is not itself a formal system. So logic can't be a self-grounding thing. And we wanted it to be. And then the defense that people give is no defense at all. It's like, oh wow, science is value free. It's how you use the science is well. That's a problem, right? That's a problem that goes back to your belief that knowledge can be acquired without requiring any kind of transformation. And so all of these things, again, a much more complex, rigorous argument is available, but all of these things undermine people's belief that what we can get is we can get this completely formal, logical, deductively closed picture of reality. And what we start to realize is that we have been on the outside of that worldview. We have got scientific explanations, but we don't have scientific explanations of how we do science, of how we make meaning, what truth is in our ontology. So there's two dimensions about that people typically use, maybe three, for distinguishing wisdom from knowledge. One that seems to be a generally convergent idea is that knowledge is what you know, and wisdom is about how you know. And another one is that knowledge, as we use it, has to do about theorizing. It's about generating arguments of propositions that come to conclusions that we accept as probable or sometimes very rarely as certain. Whereas wisdom is not about propositional knowing. Wisdom is about knowing how.